it might be a light crowd, but we'll still record it, and I'll send the link to everybody anyway, along with any highlights from today's discussion. So we should be good. We're almost live.
Hi, Misty.
Hi, Sherry. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Hi, Jim.
Okay.
Morning, Sherry.
All righty. Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I know it's a short week, so it can be pretty hectic for people. I won't keep it to a full hour today if we don't have a full hour's worth of conversation, but I'm happy to leave it open all the way to 11. So this morning, I'm going to invite Paul Bullis to get us started because Paul isn't really a church communicator, but he's joining us today from a personal invitation to bring some awareness about an article that's going to come out today on the Desert Southwest Conference newsletter about prison reform. And so I wanted Paul to tell us a little bit more about it so you can understand why or where you can share the article and other information about prison reform. Go ahead, Paul.
Thanks, Christina. I want to talk today about the death penalty, and particularly the death penalty in Arizona. You may have been reading about the last several months. The Trump administration has executed 13 prisoners on federal death row, and that was after a pause of 17 years. In Arizona, there have been no executions of death row prisoners since 2014 because there's been litigation, a lawsuit going on regarding how Arizona administers its death penalty. It's lethal injections. And that lawsuit is finally over. Everything's been resolved. And so now there's a big push in Arizona to resume executions. And that's primarily coming from the Attorney General in Arizona, Mark Brnovich. He has been sending letters to the governor saying now's the time to resume executions. There are no more impediments to that. You may have seen recently an op-ed piece that appeared in the Arizona Republic and on AZ Central. So he's really getting a push to begin the death penalty again in Arizona. Let me give you a quick update on kind of what the status is in Arizona. On death row, there are over 100 prisoners. And of those over 100 prisoners, over 20 have exhausted all of their appeals. So they're ready to go. There's nothing, legally out there right now stopping, preventing them from being executed. And so Attorney General Brnovich has sent, as I said, several letters to the governor saying, hey, there's no reason to stop this. Let's get going. And the process is that the Attorney General, the Department of Corrections, and the governor all need to get together to work out a schedule of executions and who's going to be first and all that. And so I think we have an opportunity here in Arizona to try and get ahead of the curve rather than, complaining, oh my gosh, all these executions are taking place in Arizona. We have an opportunity now to try and get ahead of that and try and convince people to not begin the executions again. So the Conference Prison Reform Task Force, we've prepared an article that goes through in more detail what I've just told you, and published that on the conference website and on our Facebook page, and that'll be coming out in the district and conference newsletters this week. In addition to kind of setting the stage, we also have put in that letter the fact that the United Methodist Church has come out strongly against death penalty. The Desert Southwest Conference has also come out strongly against the death penalty. Governor Ducey is Catholic, and we know in there that the Catholic Church has come out strongly against the death penalty. In fact, just last year, the Pope came out with a new a new proclamation indicating that, yeah, the death penalty is wrong and there are no circumstances under which that makes any sense. So what we want to encourage people to do is to write to the governor and encourage him to not begin executing prisoners again, and to write to the attorney general also requesting that he not continue his push for executions. As part of the resources that accompany the article that we've put out, we have sample letters to the governor and to the attorney general that you can use. You can use parts you like, parts you don't like, but we've got that there for you. We've got copies of the Desert Southwest and the United Methodist Church resolutions against the death penalty. We also have links in there to other factual information about the death penalty. But really the point is, now is the time for us to get ahead of this and start telling or asking people to please don't start down this path again. The bishop in November wrote a letter to the governor, similar to, nearly identical to the draft letters that are prepared and available to you on the conference website. So we have a copy of the letter that the bishop sent to the governor. So again, I think now is the time to try and get ahead of this rather than just waiting and complaining, after the fact. Let's see if we can start changing people's minds, or at least getting people aware of this. So it's going to be in the district newsletters, a link to that. If you need any, and you can use that article that we've prepared as for information if you want to publicize in your newsletters. If you'd like, a shorter, summary blurb or something like that you can use, let me know. I'm happy to, give you something that might be shorter and, pithier that you could use in your own newsletters. If you don't want to, if you don't want to just summarize that yourself, happy to do that. So that's what we are, and that's what we really want to be able to encourage people to do. So we're trying to get this out to as many people as possible and encourage them, let the governor, let the attorney general, let everybody else know that we can stop this now, but now is the time to do it.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you, Paul, for sharing what you did, writing that extensive letter. I'm always super impressed with how detailed and thoroughly researched your content always is. I do want to share with you guys, if you decided, like Paul said, you can copy and paste the article. If you decide to use any of the items that are from another website or the PDFs or anything like that, be sure to cite them. If it's Desert Southwest Conference authored, like from the bishop or Paul, no problem, copy, paste, share it however you want. It's just when it comes from another source, you need to properly cite it. And if you need help with that, just send me an email and I'll get the citation ready for you and send it to you. I understand that there's also, I don't know that they're always available, but another option for you guys could be to reach out to either Paul or Billy Fidlin at the conference office. If you want to invite someone from the team like Paul to speak to your church, maybe it's not necessarily for the whole congregation, maybe it's just to your mission team or other UMW if they're working on prison reform stuff, whoever it is that it makes sense to bring them in on the conversation. Because that's the thing with you guys as communicators, it's not always just, oh, okay, here's the information and I send it out. A lot of times you have to weigh like, well, this doesn't make sense for our church newsletter, but probably UMW missions, maybe our chair or whoever should hear about it. And then their team might want to do something with it or send out through their channels. So just know there's those options. Be sure to forward the link to the article, and you can even copy Billy or Paul in that email in case people have questions about it. They can respond and ask away. Anything else you want to say, Paul?
No, that's it. And yeah, absolutely. Just want to affirm what Christina said. I'm certainly available to do anything, make presentations, give more content, anything that would be helpful. Just let me know.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving right along. Another item that I said I would share about is the publicity resources from Outreach. I think my note mentioned about that it's basically $150 worth of invitation tools. Have any of you ordered the Outreach tools before? You have? Holly, do you want to tell us how you use that? And then Misty, if you don't mind.
Some I used as examples to customize our own, and some I used directly and sent them to people that they related to.
So I went ahead and ordered all the Advent communications that you advertised last time or you told us about. And I just wanted to see what they were like. And we didn't end up using them because they didn't fit our ministry goals. But it was good to see what they published. So
that makes sense. I think I've shared with you guys before, somebody did. I wondered if maybe like Tempe First, when they do their Easter parade that they're going to do, inviting people onto their campus and instructions on how to register for your turn to walk through, or is it drive through? I don't remember. That could be a good way to use these postcards, or whatever it is that maybe you use the $150 towards a banner. It's free publicity tools, and you can put whatever you want on it. And if you don't have something ironed out right away for what you're going to do for Easter, maybe it's still kind of in a draft mode, you could always consider creating a web page on your website or a post and have that be the landing page of where you're going to put your Easter stuff. In the meantime, you could just have a nice graphic, Easter-y graphic, maybe a message about what your church is all about. Maybe we're so excited to have our friends, our neighbors, community come and join us for an Easter experience at blah, blah, blah church, and details about the time frame and COVID requirements will be posted soon, something like that, so that you can still utilize these free printed resources and have time to work out your final plan. Then you would just put that link in that postcard or banner or whatever for where people can go to find out more information. Alrighty. Let's see what's next. We also have just a reminder about the Desert Southwest Conference Campus Ministry Sunday Worship materials that will be posted by the end of January at the dscumc.org. Oh, I had campus-ministry page, but that's not it. It's dscumc.org/worship. That's where those items will be available for download. And then the only other piece, I don't think I outlined it in my email, but I do want to mention that the DSC Race Coalition is going to be meeting very soon. So I know that they're going to have a lot of opportunities coming up for the church to either use their resources or to be able to extend an invitation to participate in a conversation maybe. So just be thinking about that. If you're part of a team meetings that talk about what's coming up for your church newsletter, if your missions group, outreach, whoever it is that would work on the race conversations, if they're thinking about, wow, what's coming up next? What else do we have? There are a couple things that I'm linking in the Desert Southwest Conference newsletter that's going to be published later today. One of them is from Candler. I'm not sure that I'm saying that right. I am. Okay, good. It's from them. It's a conversation. No, it's a worship service, and a panel discussion afterwards. And they do this every year. I think it's like their 20-something year of doing it. I imagine it's going to be pretty good. I admit I've never done it before, so I'm going to participate this time and see what it's all about. And there's another one that I don't have in front of me. So just, well, let me look it up real quick. Anyway, those two items are coming up really quick. One of them is like January 20 something. Let's see here. The invitation, Claremont School of Theology. Theirs is on January 26th. And the link to those resources are way at the bottom if you go to UMC News section on the newsletter webpage, or when you get the email, there's a direct link there. The other one that I wanted to mention is Conversations About Racism and the United Methodist Church. It's a book discussion about I'm Black, I'm Christian, I'm Methodist. That one's January 19th. That's today at 1 o'clock. Well, yeah, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, or noon if you're in Nevada. So there's those, for something like what's happening today, if it makes sense for your church, definitely send it to the small group of people or large group, whoever it is, maybe a congregational email or your missions team, whoever it is that has those conversations or would be interested, send them an email with the link. But you could also share it on social media so that your other followers and community can find out about it. And it is kind of last minute, but it's not something that's from your church. So that, for me, that's the pass. I'm just sharing what I found out. Don't miss out on this opportunity type of a thing. Okay, what else? DSC race. I think that's it. I feel like there's more things coming up, but just check out the conference newsletter. I feel like there was a couple of, it's not exactly time sensitive. Oh my goodness, yes. The Where Love Lives February resources, those were released today, direct link in the newsletter. It's similar to the January one, where we'll have a video and a prayer focus for every week. What's different is that this time, in addition to being able to download all the videos right away from the Google Drive, the February Where Love Lives page also has the live video. So the January one, we had them scheduled so you could only see 1 week at a time. February one, you can preview them all right now. Oh, and okay, now this is the last one. There's also this new thing called Soulology. It's from it's from Queer Cultures and Reconciling Ministries of the Desert Southwest Conference. I don't know a whole lot more about it other than what you'll see in the post about it. And there must be a typo because I see that it says, so join us on January 14th. I bet it was supposed to be January 19th. I'm going to confirm that and I will email you guys about it. But that is going to be an ongoing thing. So even if it was January 14th, which I bet it's January 19th. But even if it was, whenever it is, if your church is interested in participating in something like that, you can certainly contact the group to, subscribe and get more information from them. What else? That's it. That's all I've got. How about you guys? Anything new? I hope you all had a nice long weekend and got to reflect and renew. Nothing. Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. Like I started out with, this is a short week, so I'm sure you guys have a lot going on. I do appreciate you guys joining us, and the people that couldn't make it. Yay, Carla. It's totally cool if you ever can't make it. These things are recorded, they'll be available. Go ahead, Carla.
Oh, so I was here. I was just starting my laundry, so I was listening to you, but I was far away. I'm late to joining your group, so I'm sure you guys have already talked about this. But when those of you that don't do live worship, that are putting worship on a video, up on a video. How are you doing it? Are you sharing it via with Vimeo, with on your website, through YouTube? How are you doing it, and why are you doing it, and what are the pros and cons for each? If somebody could address those. Or Christine, if you want to send me to a recording that's already been done where you guys already talked about this, I'm perfectly fine to do that, but
I can look, I know we have stuff. Jim, were you going to share something?
Yes, I was just going to say we do a combination of Facebook, YouTube, and Dropbox for ours. We do the pre-recorded probably 3 to 4 days in advance and get it out there. They put it on Dropbox right away, but Facebook comes up right at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. So
We always do live, live stuff on Spirit Song. Even if we pre-record parts of the service, we always run it live. So, which is a little different. Like someone actually at 9 o'clock has to turn things on and put the videos in. But Carla, I do pre-record our daily prayers sometimes, and then just schedule it for YouTube and Facebook.
and why YouTube and Facebook and not Vimeo? Vimeo.
Just because I'm unfamiliar with Vimeo as of this moment, and I have to explore it further. And I haven't heard any of my congregation members using it over the others.
We do all of our services recorded, and we post to Vimeo, but we also post to YouTube, to Facebook. And then our primary is live stream. So at 9 o'clock every morning, I push the go live button on live stream every Sunday.
I think it's important to make sure that you're hitting, what would you say, the best mix of that. We find that we get a lot more hits on Dropbox and Facebook than we do on YouTube, and I have no idea why. But we constantly monitor, who is watching and why, and how long they're on too, which YouTube gives you that information, Facebook not so much. So
Chris, does Vimeo tell you how many people watch your video?
It does. Now we have a paid account, so I don't know
We have a
if
paid
there's a
account
difference.
too. We have a paid account too.
Okay, but it does show like what time, for how long people watch too. So like Jim was saying, it shows where the drop-offs are, which is kind of nice to see. We primarily use Vimeo for like storage. So if you want to see any of our videos from, sermons from 6 months ago, it's all just hanging out there on Vimeo.
So on your website, you link to, so when I could go look, but but I'll ask you, link to Vimeo for on your website for the old ones, and then
we do now on our website. We have an embedded video player that uses the Vimeo embed code.
Okay.
So
one big difference between Facebook, Vimeo, and YouTube and Dropbox is YouTube. YouTube's like Google. It's a huge search engine. So, if you're talking about worship, it's a good idea to put it out there where there's a lot more people, which YouTube has a lot more than Vimeo. I don't know how it compares to Facebook anymore, but it's going to be up there as well. The nice thing about YouTube is if you use your tags and location and set date, like if you go through the effort of putting in all the information about your video honestly, then YouTube, like Google, is going to help you out by putting it in front of people when they're searching for something that is similar to what you're looking for, that has, the keywords that you publish your worship video to be about. That helps it to come up for people that have never heard of your church. So it's a good evangelism, marketing option. Let me think. And YouTube is much more commonly used than Vimeo, like whether it's on a smartphone searching for stuff. I think Vimeo is much more likely for people that are already into short films or cinematography, or, it's a little more artsy than YouTube. So YouTube would be, I just based off of the search engine, YouTube would be the best option. It's also really easy and it's free. So it's not, well, okay. So then there's also, it is free, period. But then once you have a certain number of subscribers, which once you have up to 100 subscribers, then you get a lot more options available and YouTube helps you out even more. I was also going to add that if any church that watches this from the Desert Southwest Conference, if you are not already listed on the Desert Southwest Conference YouTube channel as one of our subscribed churches, not that you guys subscribe to us, but that we've subscribed to you, you would show up in one of our lists on our YouTube channel. Let me know and I'll subscribe to you so that our other churches can find you easily. And, we've got well over 100 churches. So if our churches subscribe to each other's channels, then we're all in the above 100 subscribers group. So we all get all the bells and whistles. So if you haven't already done that, make sure you go to youtube.com. Let me see. I think it's dsc.communications, but I'm going to double check.
The other, if I could real quick, the other nice thing about YouTube is that a lot of the smart TVs just automatically have the link on there or have the app on there. So you can watch it on TV and it's easier to do than having to go through the web and watch it on a computer or to download an app on your TV.
Yep. The direct link is youtube.com/DSC communication. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you're already at our channel. Go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to say that Glade Kinnison has done, I think you recorded those sessions on how to pull your stats from YouTube. And that for us was very informative because we were able to do a better job of determining who was watching and for how long and when sometimes too. So you might want to, those videos are still out there, aren't they, Christina?
Yes, they are. Thanks for that reminder, Jim. That's where I was thinking about. A lot of the information that I shared was from what I learned from Glade. So I'll be sure to put in the link to that training series because it's a 3-part video or 3 videos on the same thing, but it kind of takes you from beginner to more advanced features. And I'll also send a link to all of the Worship Online resources that we have. That's to one page. I'll include that link in the email to all of our communicators.
Thank you.
That was a great question, Carla. Thanks. All right. So if there isn't anything else to share, I think we will be done today at exactly 10:30 a.m. All right.